Hello, my name is Godfrey Frank Mwega. I'm an accounting teacher, but I also teach bookkeeping. Today, we're going to look at a question relating to payroll. It concerns Nabose Limited, Company Limited, and it comprises of 3 employees. Each of them have their basic pay. Abbas's basic pay is 40, Chedi's basic pay is 35, Dora's basic pay is 50, and Bakari's basic pay is 40. But also take your time to read this section. Pause the video in order to read this question. This is the second part of the paper. We are required to do 2 things. We are required, first of all, to prepare salary slip of each employees. Secondly, we are required to prepare a payroll summary, totals, and pass a composite journal entry. So we have to prepare a journal proper, and we have to prepare salary slip of each employees. Please do not skip this video. Listen until the end. First, calculate basic pay. Basic pay, you take the basic hours times the hours worked. Basic hours of Abbas was 40 times hours worked 168, you will get 6,720. Basic pay for Bakari will be basic hours 40 times hours worked 176, you will get 7,040. For Chedi, basic hours were 35 times 176, you will get 6,160. For Dora, basic hours were 50 basic hours times 176 hours worked. For Dora, you'll take 50 times 176 hours worked, you'll get 8,800. After calculating basic pay, you have to calculate allowance. You have to calculate allowance for everyone. First allowance was overtime payment. And the people who have overworked was Bakari. Bakari had overworked for 14 hours. So 14 times 1.5 times 40 basic hours, you'll get 840. But Dora has overworked for 8 hours times overtime rate 1.5 times 50, you'll get 600. Those were the overtime payment allowance. Then you'll calculate meals allowance. Meals allowance for everyone was 200 times 22 days, which is equals to 4,400. But also there was transport allowance for everyone. Transport allowance was 60 times 22 days, you'll get 1,320. And those were the only allowance given. After calculating basic pay and allowance, you have to calculate for gross pay. Gross pay is found by taking the basic pay plus all the allowance. So for Abbas, you will take 6,720 plus 4,440 plus 1,320. You will get 12,440. Okay? So you have to take basic pay plus all allowance. For Bakari, it will be 7,040 plus 840 plus 4,400 plus 1,320. You will get 13,600. So take all basic pay plus the allowances, you will get gross pay. For Chedi, it will be 6,160, which was the basic pay, plus all his allowance, which was 4,400 plus 1,320, you'll get 11,880. So you take basic pay plus allowance. For Dora, you take her basic pay, which was 8,800, plus his allowances, which was 600 plus 4,400 plus 5,000 plus 1,320. You will get the answer will be 20,120. You understand? So you have to take basic pay plus allowance in order to get gross pay. After that, you have to calculate for deductions. You have to calculate for what? For deductions. The first deduction was concerning Juwata, and for Abbas, you have to take 10%, 10% times 12,440. What is 12,440? That is his gross pay, So you take 10% times gross pay, but you also take 10% times gross pay for Bakari. So Bakari's gross pay was 13,600. You will times with 10%, you will get 1,360. For Chedi, you will take his gross pay, which was 11,880. All right, that is his gross pay times 10%. Why? That was our requirement we were given. All right, you will get 1,188. For Dora, you will take her her gross pay 20,120 times 10%. The answer will be 2,012. Then you have to continue calculating other deductions. Other deduction was housing, and we were told that housing was only charged for Dora. So you have to take Dora's basic pay 8,800 times 10%. This was given. You will get 880. Then you have to find PPF. Deduction for PPF of Abbas was found by taking Abbas's gross pay, which was 12,440. All right, you have to find first the employee's contribution. So you have to take 12,440 times the rate which you were given, which was 5%. That was for the employee contribution. Refer to your question. You'll get 622. Then for Bakari, take the gross pay. Bakari's gross pay was 13,600. Do you remember? So you take 13,600 times 5%, which was the employee's contribution. You will get, your answer will be 680. So you take gross pay times the percent which you were given, which was for Chedi, 11,000 gross pay, 11,880 times 5%, you will get 590. For Dora, you will take Dora's gross pay. Do you remember Dora's gross pay? It was 20,120 times 5%. You will get, your answer will be 756. So that is PPF for employees' contribution. You understand? That is employees' contribution. Remember, there is also employer's contribution. So you must also find the employer's contribution. How much of PPF does the employers contribute? Okay, we were told that employer's contribution was 10%. So you have to find 10% of everybody's or of every employee's gross salary. So you have to take the gross salary of Abbas, which was 12,440 times 10%. You will get 1,244. Gross salary for Bakari was 13,600. You have to multiply it with 10%. You will get 1,360. That is the employer's contribution. Employer's contribution for Chedi, you will take gross pay of 11,880 times 10%. The answer will be 1,188. Then you will take the gross pay of Dora, 20,120 times 10%. You will get 2,012. Call me now if you need my teaching service by using the number 0675201965. Then you have to find the payee. Payee is found by taking 286.75 for everyone. Abasi, Bakari, Chedi, all of them you must take 286.75 because they all have a gross pay which is above 7,500. So you take 286.75 plus gross pay minus 7,500 so as to find the excess times 15%. You will get 1027.75. Why are we doing this? Because of the requirement of this question, which requires you to first find the excess amount, then multiply it to 15% plus 286.75. So for Bakari, you find the excess by taking the gross pay minus 7,500 times 15%, plus it with the 286.75, you'll get 1,201.75. For Chedi, you take 11,880 minus 7,500 times 15% plus 286.75, you'll get 943.75. For Dora, you have to find the excess by taking the gross pay 20,120 minus 7,500 times 15% plus 286.75, you'll get 2,179.75. After showing all those workings, we can now answer our question by doing section A, whereby it requires us to prepare a salary slip. After preparing a salary slip, we can then prepare a journal entry to show the payroll summary. So you must first calculate all those workings which I previously showed you by getting the gross pay, basic pay, then you must find the allowance, then you must get the deductions. After that, you are ready to prepare your salary slip as follows. Open your salary slip with 4 columns: details, employee's name, which are Abbas, Bakari, Chedi, and Dora. If you don't understand, please call me through those numbers which you see. So your salary slip first starts with basic pay, which we have already found. So you just put them as they are. For Abbas, Bakari, all of them, you just put them as they are. Then you say add all allowances. The first allowance was overtime payment. That was the first allowance. For Abbas, none. You can put a dash. For Bakari was 840 and for Dora was 600. Then we also had meals allowance, and we were told that everyone was entitled with meals allowance of 4,400, which we calculated as shown in the workings. So refer your workings, then post as they are. Transport allowance for Abasi, we have found it, and for everyone was 1,320. So you put them just as they are, then you close it, and this will be your gross pay. For Abbas, you add all of it, you'll get 12,440. And basically, we already calculated gross pay. Do you remember? So you just put it as it is. Then you say less deductions. Deductions, we also already calculated them. Juwata, we calculated it and we found out it was 1,244, 1,360, 1,188 and 2012. Then we had PPF, employee contribution. Remember, we already calculated that. We also had housing, and only Dora was entitled. We also calculated, we found out it was 880, but we also calculated for payee. Do you remember? So you just put it as it is after calculation. Okay? Put it as it is because you already showed your workings. Now you post it. So in this salary slip, you just enter the details which you have found in your workings. Very simple. Close it, and that will be your total deductions. You have to add them all. 1,244 plus 622. You'll get your answer. So you add them up. 1,360 plus 680 plus 1,201.75. You get your answer. So all of those deductions, you have to add them up. You'll get your answers as follows. Those will be your total deduction. Then you close, you will say net pay. Find the net pay by taking gross pay minus total deductions. So 12,444 minus 2,893.75, you'll get your answer. Then you take 13,600 minus the total deduction. Then for Chedi, you take 11,880 minus 2,721.75, you'll get your answer. For also Dora, you do the same thing. So you take the gross pay minus total deduction. For everyone, take the gross pay minus total deduction, and that will be your net pay. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to call me. All right? Don't hesitate to call me by the numbers which you see on your screen. So we're now ready to prepare our journal proper by writing details, date details, debit, credit. We'll start with the gross salary, which is salary expense, which was 58,040. That refers to the gross salary. Then we'll credit all the deductions payable, starting with Juata payable, 5,804. That is the total. That is the total amount. PPF payable total was 2,648. Then payee payable total was 5,353. Housing payable total was 880. Okay. Salary payable, referring to the net pay, it was 43,355. And then you will narrate by saying that is being payroll for the month of April. You'll close it. Then you will write the PPF employer's contribution, the contribution of the employer, which we calculated was 5,804. Then credit PPF payable 5,804. You will narrate by saying being PPF employer's contribution for the month of April. So basically what you enter is the total amount of all employees and all employers' contribution. After that, you record the last entry referring to the profit and loss account, debit profit loss account. You must add 58,040 plus 5,804. You'll get 63,844. And that's the end of our lesson. You will say narration being closing entries. Thank you very much.